eye-wateringly, mouth-frothingly exciting to me. I'm keeping the hype alive mainly for these things, okay? So, one, it is a proper MMO, and if you watch my channel, you know that I love MMOs, I love online games, period, but there's something distinctly special about a game that is online, massively so, you know? So, this game is actually claiming 40,000 simultaneous players, and even though this is a video that's hyping up a game that's upcoming, I'm still going to be a little bit critical. I don't know if that's really going to be true. And even if it's not, even if it's just a fraction, even if it's just 200 players per instance, that's actually freaking amazing. Because games like this normally play like Sea of Thieves, or Ark Survival Evolved, or Rust, or, you know, Minecraft. You normally don't have that many players in a single instance, and so generally you just have ship versus ship combat, or small team or squad or platoon versus, you know, small. And you don't really get big team battles. Generally, sometimes you can, sometimes rarely. But in MMOs, that's really where that shines, where you have, you know, the siege fights. You actually have guild versus guilds, you know, castles or entire islands being conquested. These are the things that you see in MMOs, and that's why I'm excited that Atlas is being promoted highly. Like, that's the first thing you read right here. Atlas, the ultimate survival MMO of unprecedented scale with 40,000 simultaneous players in the world. That's the first thing they say. That's cool. Next up. Not only are they going big with the player counts, and not only are they going big with the crazy pirate theme and the fantasy, sure, you know, like you got giant skull islands and you got these big old ships, you know, big scale, the monsters are also going to be freaking big. Now, this is from the developers of Ark Survival Evolved, and that's a double-edged sword. We'll get into that later, but immediately, guys, MMOs being massively multiplayer, you would think that more often you would see big monsters. I mean, you go into the dungeons as a 5-player and you fight these giant monsters, but it's really rare for games to have good open-world boss fights. BDO has some, you know, I would rank it okay, but really Guild Wars 2 is the shining example, and that's like one of the very, very few handfuls of examples that even have big monsters, and Guild Wars 2 is like the only one that like actually does it great. So I love giant monsters, I love kaiju, I love monster hunters, did a top 10 monster hunter list, you should probably check that out, but I couldn't do one for, you know, big ass monster fights, or BAMs as they're infamously known, right, in the MMO community. BAMs, these elite monsters, these big monsters in the open world, wow, they basically don't even exist. A lot of you guys probably haven't even heard that term. You probably don't even know what I'm talking about. BAMs, what's a BAM? Yeah, Terra kind of had some big fights, I guess, but God, it's just so rare to see this, and Atlas is pulling it out. They got some actual freaking Leviathans. They have actual giant mythological creatures that we're gonna be Godzilla tackling, and I cannot wait for that. And also, super exciting is that we're gonna be using the ships potentially in some of these giant fights, which I guess you can kind of do in Black Desert Online, Arcade debatably. Like, you know, there's some games that kind of have this mechanic sort of a little bit, but a game that entirely focuses around having large numbers of players fighting freaking pretty big monsters in a big open world, you know, basically in every way possible. They're just going massive, massive, massive. Oh baby, you know, it's blowing my brains. Okay, so Atlas, even if you don't have that many players, even if your combat is wacky and wibbly wobbly and uncomfortable, even if, you know, a lot of this stuff is just tacked on themage, frankly, it's still going to be unique. So a lot of people are worried that it's going to be like Ark Survival Evolved, that it's going to be buggy. It's not going to be that polished. It's going to be mostly rushed. And I'm here to not, you know, tell you otherwise. It will be. It will overhype and underdeliver. But I'm here telling you in this hype video that its underdelivery is still going to well overdeliver what actually exists inside the MMO space. Now, if you want a fully polished, I guess, ship sailing and crew simulator, you know, pirate crew simulator, I guess Sea of Thieves is your game, but it's not an MMO and lacks so much, you know, actual depth versus its width, I guess. Atlas just seems to have so much more going on for it. And, you know, if you want other style of games, you know, that have more polish in certain aspects, like a melee fighting game, a melee pirate game, I don't know, I guess you can go play Chivalry or something, you know, like a For Honor and Soul Calibur. You know, there's other games for that. You can always nitpick how this game looks and feels, and I totally get you, and yes, we should criticize it. We should always complain about it, but I'm here to say that in the MMO space, we have a very few games like Arcade or Darkfall, and God, they're so clunky in so many ways and awkward, or nobody plays them, or, you know, in the ways that this game is meant to be played, man, that game loop and gameplay flow just doesn't exist. And so in that way, this game, which is obviously cloned and piecemealed and pretty much a re-imaged Ark Survival Evolved, this is actually one of the most unique concepts to come out in a long time. As long as you actually, you know, respect the MMO-age, the MMO space. So, yeah, I'm pretty hype about the big monsters. I'm pretty hype about building my ship and working together with my friends and family. I'm going to be streaming this game over at twitch.tv/Skylent, so hopefully you guys join me for that. It's going to be a hoot and a holler. But yeah, there just seems to be a lot of focus on PvP as well, which isn't uncommon. With the games that are sandboxy and in the emergent genre that we have going on right now, we have two factions of MMO. We have these classic-styled MMO, which literally look retro. I call them retro MMOs. So we have those coming out, and then we have these brand new games that are sandbox PvP MMOs that have like crafting mechanics or all these weird wacky ideas, such as Chronicles of Lyria with its life cycle system where you can actually age and die and you have to make a new character. Yeah, so actually, again, piecemealed mechanics. Atlas is literally taking that mechanic. Obviously, it's taking inspiration from Sea of Thieves. It's taking inspiration from so many MMOs and non-MMOs, but like, even if all these things come together clunky, it's still a really unique idea. But yeah, I'm really interested in this emergent genre. I'm also excited. Like, there's a lot of games coming out that are ship-based, right? Like pirate-based or ship-based airships. So I mean, we have we have Ascent Infinite Realm, right? That's a cool, exciting game. There's also that game that Worlds Adrift that where you craft your own flying airship. So I'm having a lot of fun with these ideas and these concepts, and I can't wait to actually get my hands on Atlas because of that. Building my own ship, manning it together. And another aspect to MMOs, which they're massively multiplayer, is they're supposed to be social. But if you've played the genre recently, you know that that's not quite the case. There's not really a forced cooperation. But whenever I played Minecraft or whenever I play Ark or something like that, I always felt such a deeper connection with my friends. And when you play a game that literally sits you on a ship, an airship, a pirate ship, and you have to man the different parts of it to work together as a literal unit, a single unit, a ship, I don't think you really get better cooperation than that. Next up, I'm really excited about the territory control system, and it seems that we're going to have like taxation and we can be able to change some behavior rules. I'm not sure if that's going to literally change rules like no PvP, or if you PvP, then you have a bounty on your head or something like that. I think that could be kind of cool. But in the end, territories actually work like guild conquest. So it kind of works like an RTS on a macro scale. So on a meta scale, really, with the map, you are gaining territories and you're creeping along the map, and you have a fog of war actually, so you can't see uncharted or unclaimed territory. And then you literally have a shroud of war where you cannot pierce through enemy territory zones. So you don't quite know the shape, you don't quite know what they got going on behind the shroud of war. So there's a lot of playability with that, I think, depending on, maybe claiming territories just for the fact that it's good for scouting, it's good as a barrier, sort of. I think there's going to be a lot of fun with that if it's done well, and I'm just really excited that they have a territory system. It's something that I played a lot with some Minecraft servers, and if you guys never got to have that territory conquest feeling, I'm gonna be honest, I can't think of a single MMO that really does it good. I mean, a lot of MMOs technically have, base claiming and base sieging, and you can own a castle or you can claim a territory, but it doesn't really feel real. And I feel like from what I'm reading on here that they're trying to make it like, when you play the kind of territory control maps in RTSs or, in stuff like modded servers or private servers, maybe on Rust or definitely on Minecraft that I've played. So yeah, I think that's gonna be super cool. So another thing that I am looking forward to is the fact that this game, even though it is a sandbox game, it's not going to immediately just throw players into, the deep end of the water, the pool. Actually, you're going to have level cap starter zones, so players can learn the ropes, they kind of get adjusted to it, and this might sound similar to Arcade, how it started out like a theme park and then it expands into a sandbox. BDO somewhat kind of does this, but I think that the fact that there's just like a starter, like tutorial island area, that's really cool. That allows people to socialize, and I don't know, I a little bit reminiscent of RuneScape, but I think that's just a really fucking good idea. So anyways, I'm just throwing that out there. Okay, but yeah, we got to talk about the trading. The trading here, I think, is going to be a big one. So yeah, we're fighting big monsters. There's lots of players. There's territory conquest. So what's kind of the point? Why are we killing these big monsters? Why are we gaining territory access? And why do we have pirate ships sailing all over the place? And I'm assuming because it being an open world sandbox PvP game, it's going to be very economy focused, especially being a freaking pirate game. So there's a couple of games that do economy awkwardly, but then with some unique mechanics, such as BDO with the Empire system, the worker system, the trading and things is awkward and weird. Albion Online, and sure, EVE Online, absolutely. And I think that this game, obviously piecemealing all these mechanics that so far, I think what it's looking at for these MMOs, and this is where it could really go awry, but I'm hoping they're going to take the best of all these worlds. Hopefully different territories have different resources to claim and to trade for. Hopefully there's lots of different unique zones to be sailing through, so that there's PvP enabled, such as like EVE Online, you know, where you go into these high-risk areas, you might get ganked or whatever. That's super cool. I fucking love cat and mouse inside of MMOs. You know, we got these big giant monsters. Hopefully they do have rare drops that we can trade to other people who might have, you know, some stuff that we need, or maybe different rare monsters spawn in only different unique territories or biomes. These are the sort of things that make me really happy and excited to play, because, I mean, I just remember my time in, I know, again, Minecraft, but it reminds me of my time in Minecraft, where I would trade with other players who had their territories in different zones. I'd be like, hey, you got some cocoa, you know, I got some of this thing, and, you know, we'll trade it, here's some colored sheep or whatever, and I just think that's interesting, and now put that into literally different territories with all these different guilds, a lot of different combat and content to be had, as long as the economy is done right. But here, I'm here to say, like, you know, I'm excited for that. It could be fucking amazing, and it should be, because it's a pirate MMO, but because this is the big bad one, because they're coming from a non-MMO type of game, I don't really trust them to balance the economy that well. I don't really know how it's going to operate. I don't know. It could be really bad. And when the economy's bad in a pirate MMO, then it could actually kind of crumple the entire thing, which would kind of suck. A big complaint about Grand Theft Auto Online and a few other games is, you know, the economy, the grind, the slog, like especially with Black Desert Online, which, you know, in ArcAge, games that should be so fucking fun and good, that just, you know, like it's not balanced well enough, or it's too grindy, it's awkward, it's uncomfortable. But because this game does seem to be focusing on those mechanics, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, but it could go awry. So I'm just going to say that. I am excited to trade and things like that. I'm actually having a lot of fun doing that in Albion, and even though I dislike it in BDO, merchanting and trading is kind of interesting, though. That's almost like a single player experience. This is, you're going to be playing with real players, with actual territories that control in actual zones. You're going to be going through actual uncharted waters, and trying to trade and creating dynamic and engaging trade routes. Man, that sounds fucking cool. That you just don't get. Technically, other games have ships and trading, technically, but it's just not the same. And I'm not going to go into the details of those games or this game. All I can say is compare, contrast. In the end, this game, you would see a list of features, and it seems like this game isn't that unique, but all together compared to everything else that's out there, MMO or otherwise, I'm just looking really forward to this supposedly very unique experience. But yes, end capping the video. Giant monsters aside, epic 40,000 player servers, whatever aside, you know, fully customizable ships aside, you know, epic territory and trading control aside, all this stuff aside, I think it's probably going to be buggy. It's probably going to be awkward. It's going to be overhyped. It's going to underdeliver. But to me, I'm telling you right now, it almost certainly won't matter. I'm still probably going to have fun. As long as it turns on, as long as the servers aren't crashing, then I think it's going to be all right. I really, honestly do. So that's all I gotta say. I'm sorry I missed a lot of information about the game, like, you know, the taming or this mechanic or how the combat works and you know, whatever. There's a lot of other regurgitated videos out there, and there's some articles that all say the same thing. Go read those, go look at the Steam page yourself. But basically, at the face value of the game, what it's offering, which is all I can really talk about because this is such a lighthearted video, but no, I'm seriously contending this game to be something that I actually want to stream a lot of. So if you'd please watch me over at twitch.tv/Skylent, I think we're going to have a lot of fun. So Atlas, it's a game that came out of nowhere, and you know, that's very worrisome. It's from the makers of Ark. That's a little bit worrisome. You know what, there's pretty much every step of the way, there's a little bit of worry, but it's only because it's that ambitious. It's that exciting, and I think in the end, like deep down inside all of us, we want to be a little kid, and we just want to jump into a big ol' freaking